Welcome to First Grade ELA Tidbits. I'm Amanda Smith, your curriculum specialist. This week, we're going to look at Module 3, Unit 2, Lessons 6 through 17. This visual shows the instructional journey that students take across these lessons. Each stop along the road represents a different way students build knowledge through research reading, note-taking, discussion, drawing, and writing. The key idea here is that none of these experiences stand alone. Every lesson is intentionally preparing students for one outcome: an independent informative paragraph explaining how a bird's body part helps it survive, and this is aligned to W1.2. With that destination in mind, we're going to zoom in on W1.2 to understand exactly what students must know and do, and how the rest of the standards support that work. W1.2 is the instructional anchor for this stretch of the unit. It defines what success looks like at the end of Unit 2. Rather than teaching this standard in isolation, EL builds it intentionally in through reading, research, discussion, and writing tasks across multiple lessons. Notice the essential skills listed on the slide. Students are not just writing sentences, they are using research knowledge to explain an idea, selecting relevant facts, and organizing those ideas logically. This is where reading and speaking standards come into play. RI and SL standards are taught in service of writing, because writing is where student understanding and comprehension becomes visible. Let's take a look at the end of Unit 2 assessment. This slide unpacks what students must be able to do independently for the end of unit assessment. So students are writing one informative paragraph to answer the research question: how do birds use their body parts to survive? They choose either feathers or beaks and draw on what they learned through their reading research. At this point in the unit, the structure of an informative paragraph should be familiar. Students are expected to apply that structure on their own, naming a topic, supporting it with facts, and providing closure. Most importantly, students must rely on research knowledge, not opinion. Their writing should reflect ideas developed through notes, drawings, discussions, and prior writing tasks. W1.2 is developed gradually across the unit rather than in a single writing lesson. In lessons 6 through 9, students build content knowledge and language through research reading and oral explanation. They are practicing the thinking behind informative writing, naming a topic and explaining how something works, without yet writing paragraphs. Lessons 10 and 11 shift the focus to structure. Students analyze a model and learn how information is organized in an informative paragraph. This is where the parts of W1.2 become explicit. In lessons 12 through 14, students draft their own writing with support, using research notes as evidence. By lessons 15 and 16, they apply all of this learning independently during the assessment. Lesson 17 closes the arc by giving students space to share and reflect, reinforcing that informative writing communicates learning gained through research. This slide highlights an important idea. Students practice W1.2 long before they write the final paragraph. Each task in lessons 6 through 17 generates language and ideas students use later in writing. Oral explanations, notes, drawings, and science talks all serve as rehearsal for informative writing. By the time students reach the assessment, they are not starting from scratch. They are transferring thinking they've already practiced, selecting relevant facts, explaining ideas clearly, and organizing information. Writing success here depends on the quality of earlier work, not just what happens during the drafting portion. All right, now that we understand the teacher and student actions, we can anticipate possible misconceptions and prepare just-in-time supports. These just-in-time supports help teachers respond to common breakdowns during writing. If students struggle with detailed sentences, the support brings them back to oral explanation and notes where the thinking began. If writing lacks evidence, teachers redirect students to their research and ask them to justify their ideas with facts. For students who are ready for more, the extension here maintains the same expectations while increasing independence and transfer. The rigor stays the same. What changes is how independently students apply the process. Thank you for joining me for the ARC 2. See you next time.